When I woke up, I had a broken occipital bone in the back of my skull, a lacerated artery in my neck, 5 broken ribs here, 3 broken ribs here, 2 broken ribs here, separated shoulder, punctured lung, broken pelvis was broken 3 places, and then a big hematoma on my left ankle, which I kind of laid with the concrete blocks when I hit the ground.
When I found my husband laying on the ground, I cannot get those visions out of my head. Broken bones heal, but the traumatic event leaves a scar that you can't take away. When you're married to a construction worker, watching them go from a very capable, hardworking man with a couple jobs a day to someone who can not even get out of bed by themselves. He couldn't even sit up by himself. He walked 2 inches at a time with the help of a walker in the beginning. And that was after he got out of the wheelchair. When he was at Harborview, he couldn't even feed himself.
Affected me very much as far as being able to provide for your family and then not being able to provide for your family. You kind of feel like, you failed.
We had to think about every dime we spent, and we had to go on a payment plan with many of the hospitals so that we could pay the bills that were quickly accumulating. It's taken a full 2 years. We're still seeing effects today from the brain injury.
I do have a harness and a landline and an anchor. I've got 2 of them that I was going to put on these houses and use, but I just didn't take the time to do it. So that always goes through my head, even to this day. If I would have been wearing my fall protection and my harness, I know I wouldn't hit the ground.
I realize that they're good at what they do. They can get it done in just a 5-minute task. But take the time to put the harness on. You never know what can happen. And the emotional toll that it will take on your family, that extra 5 minutes is nothing compared to the time and the damage that occurs after the fall.
Falls are not rare. In the construction industry, falls are the #1 cause of death. As a safety trainer, we spend a lot of time trying to help companies build successful fall protection programs. Though there are several options available for fall protection, things like guardrails, safety nets, safety monitors, and catch platform systems, we've found the most practical and cost-effective system for residential contractors is a personal fall protection system. Personal fall protection systems are composed of a safety harness, shock-absorbing lanyard, connection or position line, and an anchor point. Many contractors have invested in fall protection systems, yet find it challenging to use them on construction projects. Why, you may wonder? Countless safety videos show construction workers easily clipping into pre-installed, engineered, and conveniently placed anchors. However, the reality is, installation of anchors in residential construction is far from a standard practice. And even when there are anchors on a building, they can be improperly installed, improperly placed, and improperly used. This video will cover best practices for using personal fall arrest and restraint systems, including inspection, donning, use, and potential hazards associated with using the system. We'll look at anchors that provide solutions for common challenges to different trades, such as framers, roofers, and painters, in both residential, new construction, and renovations. The goal is simple: stop falls, and more importantly, keep workers from hitting another surface. Fall arrest is the concept that the worker may fall off the working surface, but will be caught by the fall arrest system before hitting the ground. Contractors often remember the concept of allowing 6 feet of free fall distance, but forget the concept that the system must be worn in a way that will not contact any lower level. In other words, don't hit the ground. We can't think of anything worse than workers wearing fall protection and still be seriously injured or killed in a fall because they didn't get the basic premise. Fall restraint uses the same harness as fall arrest, but is rigged in such a way that the worker cannot fall off the working surface. Guardrails and window rails are another type of fall restraint.
During new construction, when we're doing elevated work, we know we need to use fall protection to keep everybody safe. Pretty simple. Once the roof trusses are up and sheeted, we can install permanent or temporary anchors, hook our harnesses into. Where it becomes a challenge is when we're rolling trusses, doing leading edge work. Pretty easy to have a fall, so we have to think outside the box. We've recently started using the safety bar with our harnesses while we've been rolling trusses, regardless of the height, so that nobody hits the ground.
The safety bar anchors 3 trusses at the same time and can be rolled down the roof as the trusses are placed. Most contractors utilize numerous bars per roof for added protection, ease of use, and to provide multiple tie-off points. They can be placed near the eave, mid-span, or near the peak, provided the trusses are adequately braced off diagonally according to the Structural Building Component Association's recommendations. Retractable connecting devices work on the principle of inertia, much like a seatbelt. It instantly engages when the worker starts to fall. Retractables allow the worker hands-free movement without a trip hazard. Retractables must engage within 2 feet to be considered fall restraint.
The challenge in the case of a re-roof or renovation project is that there are no anchors, and if there are, they're hard to find, so we install our own. That way our guys are tied off while they're doing their work. At first I was worried about putting the anchor in because you're going to be penetrating through the roof system, but using the proper sealants, there's never an issue with leaking.
If you have just one anchor, say in the middle of the roof, and that worker falls, is he going to hit the ground? For the most part, yes. One anchor point isn't going to cover it. So what we bring to the table is helping with those anchor solutions and showing why it's important to have multiple anchor points on the roof to cover those fall protection hazards, to cover those anchor service zones. So that way when the worker's working up there, he has the right anchor in the right place. So if he does fall, he doesn't hit the ground. Anchors must hold 5,000 pounds in fall arrest and 3,000 pounds in fall restraint, which makes sense considering the loads they carry would be subject to in a fall. Inspect the anchor to make sure it is the proper kind for the work you are doing. Inspect the fasteners, nails, screws, or bolts to make sure that they are unbent and in good condition. If the anchor has been used in a fall, it should not be repaired, only replaced. Proper installation is key to anchors performing safely in an emergency. On roofs with shingles, they will need to be removed for installation. A worker wants to make sure that they drive the nails into a truss or solid beam in the roof, that the nails are pounded flat. All the required holes are filled with the manufacturer's fastener, nail, or bolt into solid wood, not sheeting. Make sure you seal around any roof penetrations so that the roof doesn't leak. If using a temporary anchor after removal, the nail holes should be sealed with caulk to avoid leaks. Horizontal lifelines enable free movement on rooftops while simultaneously providing safety for up to 3 workers in fall restraint and 2 for fall arrest. This configuration protects workers from added injuries from swing falls, where the worker may not hit the ground but still be injured from the energy from their fall when they hit a wall or other hard surface.
We've embraced fall protection in the truss industry because we know that at any phase in construction, at any height, falls can happen. We have the ability to install anchors through our manufacturing process, making safety for all trades nearly an invisible cost.
It's frustrating to show up to a job as a painter and not have any anchors in the right spots. What we're trying to accomplish is be safe when we're on the job. I know that certain people were already here, the framers, the window guys, the siding guys. How did they do their job and be safe about it? As I get older, I find I don't bounce anymore, nor do my workers, nor do I want to see anybody get hurt on my jobs. It would be super cool if we could get the builder to install the anchors at the very first of the project and then leave them on there so that the rest of the subs throughout the project have something to use. That being said, when we show up and there's no anchors, we do install our own. We've been creative now of being able to install anchors under eaves and dormers to attach our safety harnesses to. Sometimes working off the ladders is just still the best and safest way to go.
Let's look at the harness portion of the system. Manufacturers design and manufacture harnesses to meet federal and state regulations for fall protection. The basic safety concept behind a harness is that they spread the shock load of a fall to various parts of the body instead of to a single point. That is why belt systems cannot be used, as they focus the energy of a fall to a single point, often breaking a person's back. All parts of the harness system must be able to withstand a 5,000-pound shock load, which is roughly twice the shock load of a worker falling 6 feet, and be designed so that the connection point to the lifeline is on the back, mid-shoulder, or above the head.
We like to inspect our harnesses every single day because our life literally depends on this equipment functioning properly. So we're looking for excessive wear, abrasions to any of the webbing of the harness. We're also looking for the D-rings to make sure that they're not corroded or damaged, bent out of shape. We're looking to see that there's no damage from mold because it was stored improperly. And then when we come across something like this where it's got some abrasion to it, might pass an inspection, would be okay, but really because somebody's life is on the line, we're going to replace this harness. So when we put on the harness, we like to grab it by the D-ring on the back, make sure that everything is all nice and loose the way it would be when you go to put it on, and then you just put it on like a backpack. And then start putting all your straps in. Finally, the legs. And then since my life is on the line, I like to go back and make sure that all my straps are nice and tight the way I want them to be.
A loose strap can cause a tremendous amount of force to jerk up in between the user's legs. This is not pleasant to say the least, and can cause permanent health issues. Adjustable harnesses have some advantages. One harness size can be used on 3 different sized people. Adjustments can be made on the fly, but often take some time to finish. These inexpensive solutions are often sold in a kit that includes an anchor, lifeline, deceleration device, and the harness. Sized harnesses are often much more comfortable for the end user and are quick on and off. The added features of built-in tool bags, reflective stripes, and additional connections for fall restraint are other advantages. However, any properly designed and fitted harness will save your life in a fall. Shock-absorbing lanyards are designed to reduce the force on the worker to below 1,800 pounds. Most lanyards are between 3 feet and 6 feet in length and have a built-in deceleration device. Lanyards connect the harness to the rope or lifeline by a snap hook or carabiner. Deceleration devices act as shock absorbers, so if there is a fall, the amount of impact on the worker is greatly reduced. These are connected between the harness and the lifeline using snap hooks and carabiners. These can expand no more than 42 inches when engaged. Between the harness deceleration device and the anchor is the lifeline. This rope has a position device attached into it that slides along the rope and tightens when under load. It's important workers use their position device to take up slack and never be in a position to fall more than 6 feet or hit the ground. Snap hooks and carabiners used in fall protection need a double locking mechanism for safety. Never attach 2 snap hooks together or into a single D-ring or anchor. Make sure fall protection connectors are ANSI rated for 3,600 pounds. Calculating your fall distance is important. The slack in the line over the edge, the height of the worker, and the deceleration device all combine to give you the distance the worker will fall. If that distance is longer than the height to the ground, the worker will experience the word impact in a new, very personal way. In fact, 1-story houses are more dangerous than 2, as the height of the worker and the deceleration device might be enough for the worker to hit the ground with no slack in the line. Anchors that are poorly positioned can cause a worker to extend their lifeline to a point that if they fell, a swing would occur, causing them to hit the building, or worse, the ground with great force. If a crew member is injured at elevation, suspension trauma is a life-threatening condition that could happen in as little as 15 minutes. Make sure your employees know the site-specific plan for rescue if someone falls. If there is a fall, immediately call 911 or emergency services. A trained employee will place a ladder next to the injured employee and release the pressure off the injured employee's legs, but leave straps fastened, if safe to do so, while awaiting EMS to bring them down to a lower level. If an injured employee insists on returning to ground level on their own power, allow them to do so, but do not allow them to leave the area of the fault without getting a medical evaluation by a qualified person. Having ropes, ladders, and enough harnesses on site for all workers makes for a successful rescue plan. A successful fall protection program that prevents falls and injuries if a fall occurs does not happen by accident. You must train your employees on proper placement, installation, use of anchors, and about your company's fall protection work plan. Make sure they know how to inspect, don, and properly fit their harnesses. Stress the differences in the concepts of fall arrest and fall restraint, and most importantly, that they set up the system in such a way so that they don't hit the ground.